After fire rips through her store. And Gladstone talks trade and investment with Japan. Good evening, welcome to Win News. I'm Chris Wordsworth, filling in for Paul, who's taking a short break. First tonight, the state government is about to put an end to years of car parking problems at Rockhampton Base Hospital. Local MP Bill Byrne has confirmed a new multi-level car park will be built early next year. No word yet on what it's going to cost.
Finding a car space at Rockhampton Hospital can drive you batty. A solution is long overdue. Cockatoo Coal is facing more uncertainty about the possibility of it recommencing operations. The state government has now raised environmental concerns. Its Baralabar mine was placed into care and maintenance back in February after the company laid off most of its workforce. Before the mine can reopen, the state government says the mine has to update operation plans, and that will determine whether further environmental costs will be imposed on the company. A Gladstone business owner is facing weeks without an income after fire tore through the ceiling of her takeaway food shop. The blaze began in an air conditioning unit, and fortunately, firefighters were able to quickly contain the flames.
With gaping holes and debris scattered across the grills, appliances and floor, it's a far cry from Silver Grill's normally bustling business.
It's census night next Tuesday, and foot soldiers from the Australian Bureau of Statistics have hit the ground to ensure everyone gets counted. We're being urged to take the census survey seriously. Amongst other things, census results dictate how much cash is allocated to our region by current and future federal governments.
We live in a vast region and census field officers are clocking up plenty of Ks.
We've employed staff throughout Queensland who are locals, and they're supervised by a district manager, we call them, who is based in this case in Gladstone.
This year, most people will complete the census online. But if you prefer a paper form, you can ring and request one. So far, the Bureau of Statistics has processed more than 500,000 phone calls. If you've had trouble getting through, the Bureau assures us they're putting on extra staff, so don't give up.
Another day, another email scam. This time, the con artists are pretending to be from the Federal Court of Australia. Thousands of people have received bogus emails with the startling news they've been subpoenaed. The information is quite detailed, providing case numbers, reference numbers and issue date. The email also encourages you to click on 2 links. It's essential you don't do that because that's how the scam works. Win News and the Federal Court would like you to know that if you do receive an email from the Federal Court, it's definitely a con and you should delete it immediately. Gladstone has welcomed a delegation from Japan today. The mayor and representatives from our region's sister city, Saiki, have arrived for a whirlwind visit. It's hoped the 4-day tour will strengthen industry and tourism with the Japanese port city.
It was a grand welcome to strengthen family ties. Local school students and counsellors crowded around, eager to extend the hand of friendship.
St Stephen's Lutheran Church has assured Gladstone residents its kindergarten will continue to operate even though the school is closing down. Teaching at the college will stop at the end of this school year due to dwindling enrolments. 216 students from prep to year 12 will be affected. The kindergarten will continue to operate as normal, with demand reported to be stronger than ever. Coming up on Win News tonight, councils unite in their push for disaster relief funding. The repair bill doubles for a local sports park, and muscle car enthusiasts hit the road in the name of charity. Welcome back to Win Local News. 2 Central Queensland councils are uniting to push for much-needed disaster relief following last month's record rainfall. Livingston and Rockhampton regional councils have lodged a joint request for the activation of critical recovery funds. The July downpour caused multiple road closures and more than 1,200 homes lost power. The damage bill reached nearly $2 million. Gladstone Regional Mayor Matt Burnett has admitted the repair bill for Calliope's Liz Cunningham Sports Park will be double what was first expected. To fix the drainage system, which currently faces the wrong way on the park, was initially set to cost around $300,000. For most of us, the drive from Emerald to Rockhampton can be a gruelling 3-hour grind. But 16 muscle car fanatics have turned the trip into a vintage-inspired adventure, and it's all for an amazing cause.
8 slick, shiny Aussie muscle cars cruised into Rockhampton.
And coming up next, Rockhampton's David Barber leads the Pararoos to the World Cup. The Brethren look to complete a clean sweep of the regular season, and the Cyclones to rest key players ahead of the playoffs. Welcome back to Win Local News. The Cyclones will rest several players in this weekend's clash with Ipswich as they ready themselves for a premiership defence. Chandrea Jones will play limited minutes in the final game of the season, while Shanavia Dodell won't play at all.
Shanavia Dodell landed a massive 34 points against Mackay, but the Cyclones will have to source scoring power from elsewhere this week.
To football now, Rockhampton's David Barber has stamped his ticket to another World Cup after his Pararoos finished in the top 8 of the World Cup qualifiers in Denmark. Australia put itself in prime position in the opening round after it snared a 2-0 win over Spain. Australia then went down to Scotland 2-0 before it fell to Iran in the quarter-final overnight 6-0. But the results were still enough, I should say, to see the Pararoos secure a qualifying position. The World Cup is in Argentina next year. To netball, and Brothers Crimson has sailed through the 2016 season unbeaten after it defeated Bluebirds Eagles last night. All top 4 sides posted victories in the final round, which sealed their spots in next Wednesday's finals fixture. Brothers Crimson will now meet the second-placed Frenchville Brumbies in the semi-final, while Bluebirds Hawks and CQ Jets will battle it out in an elimination final. To local league, Brothers coach Damien Seibold says he's wary of Tannum this weekend as his side chases an unbeaten season. The Seagulls let their finals chances slip last weekend, and Seibold says that could see them go one of 2 ways.
They could come down with a point to prove and trying to finish the season in style, or the fact that they're out now might mean that a few of the boys have had enough, and that's it for the year.
The Brethren will be without centre Liam Law for the last game, but he's expected to be back fit and firing in time for the semi-final.
This weekend he could definitely play, but it's not worth the risk with him. So he's the only guy missing from last weekend's team.
Sunday's game is at Victoria Park. Elsewhere, Yeppoon faces Biloela, and Biloela hosts Valleys, and Fitzroy Gracemere takes on Emu Park. It's time now for the locker room. This week, Dominic Draper is joined by coach Kim Williams for a 60-second recap of the season so far.
Welcome to this week's Win Locker Room. I'm Dominic Draper, and this week I'm joined by Rockhampton Leagues Club Capra's coach, Kim Williams. Kims, we're going to have as many questions in 60 seconds. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. And just remember, I'm a Capra.
That's the sport for tonight. Coming up after the break, Hannah joins us with the weather details, and then Pilly has the fishing report.
Good evening, everyone. It is looking fine around the region tonight. Still a little bit windy though, and a strong wind warning is still in place for coastal waters. Now, winds in Rocky today have been gusting up to around 50 kilometres per hour. It is still looking windy tomorrow, however, winds will be easing off during the day and over the weekend. Thank you very much to Amelia Means for tonight's weather shot. This photo was taken of a beautiful sunset around Gracemere. Now, if you have some pics that you would also like to see on TV, you can contact me via email, Facebook or Twitter. So moving on to those temperatures we saw around the region today, slight bit of rainfall in Yeppoon, just less than a millimetre, and your top today was 22. 23 degrees this afternoon in Rocky, 22 only for Emerald today. That's 3 cooler than average, but still slightly warmer than yesterday. 8 to 21 for Billawheeler, as well as Barellaba, and 5 to 23 for Rolleston. So tomorrow's temperatures will be slightly warmer than today, but it will be another cool night tonight. Now, the main weather feature that is going to be affecting Queensland and most of eastern Australia over the next few days will be this area of high pressure. Now that high at the moment is starting to push its way over southeastern parts of the country, and as it's moved east over the last 24 hours, it's also started to push that low offshore. So conditions will gradually moderate for parts of northeastern New South Wales and southeastern Queensland as far as those winds are concerned, but it has been a very windy day today. Now, as this area of high pressure here starts to move east over the next few days, it will be gradually weakening. So what that means for the coastline is those winds will be easing, but we still have an onshore flow, which basically for the Capricornia region means that we may see those showers, with those onshores anyway, and along the coastline. The further inland you go, the less likely you are to see any rainfall. In fact, most of the central highlands will see fine and dry conditions for at least the next 4 to 5 days. So our district forecast tomorrow for the Capricornia area is for a sunny day. South to southeasterly winds should reach around 20 kilometres an hour, tending more southeasterly during the day up to 25 k's. Rocky tomorrow is in for a top of 24, 13 to 23 for Gladstone. Now it will be a little cool this evening around the central highlands, some light frost possible tomorrow, 8 to 23 in Clermont and 11 to 23 degrees for Emerald tomorrow, and it's looking sunny. Southeasterly winds offshore reaching 30 knots tomorrow, seas between 2.5 and 3 metres. That strong wind warning has again been reissued for coastal waters, however it is likely to be cancelled during the day or for the weekend. Rosalind Bay will see low tide tomorrow at 4:39, 4:48 for Gladstone, and the sunny setting in Rocky tomorrow at 5:38. So a sunny end to the working week. Across the weekend we can expect a bit more cloud cover to build. A few showers are forecast for the coastline as well, and they may have an impact on Rocky on Sunday, with a top of 24 degrees. Early next week, fine and dry with temperatures reaching the mid-20s. So have a wonderful evening everyone, and Chris, it's over to you.
Thank you, Hannah. Before we go tonight, here's Pilly with some fishing tips for the weekend.
Now over the last couple of days you will have noticed it's getting a little bit cool again. Don't worry, that's the way it's supposed to be this time of year, and Flathead, they love the cool weather. I'll catch you next week.
And that's Wind News for tonight. Wind's local and national news continues with The Project next. If you have a story you'd like us to follow up, we're on Facebook and Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for making Wind News your local news service tonight. I'll see you tomorrow night at 6.